Good morning, it's September 24th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. Now, everyone in the political world is now looking at the 2026 midterm elections. History tells us that the party holding the White House normally loses seats in Congress. And I would agree with this prediction, but I would caveat by saying that the current president is not the norm in any way, shape, or form. Trump keeps getting wins politically, and that confounds the liberals and the political pundits. Trump wins because he's not merely a politician. He's a phenomenon, a paradigm. He's transformational, resolved, relentless, reckless, focused, unafraid, undeterred, and unrepentant. All of those things. He is a master of the media, surrounded by committed servants who embrace his message and methods. Because of Trump, it's difficult to say with any certainty that Republicans will lose the midterms. But I will also say that because of Trump, they could lose a lot of seats. He's that controversial, and he has committed followers as well as equally committed opponents. The wild card of the midterm is going to be the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I say this because of reports of thousands of young people flocking to Turning Point. If Republicans can turn out this youth vote in record numbers on the Republican side, then it will be difficult to predict how many of these races will turn out. The Republicans have received some good news in recent months about next year's midterms. They're raising more money than Democrats. The Senate map generally favors the GOP, and there are 13 Democratic House of Representative members in districts that Donald Trump carried, and only 3 Republican districts that Kamala Harris carried. And Governor Greg Abbott signed a mid-decade congressional redistricting plan that could produce a 3 to 5 seat GOP pickup in Texas. California is trying to balance that by also redistricting, but that move has to be approved by the voters in November. There are some problematic states in the Senate for Republicans. In Maine, Susan Collins will get a strong challenge. The Democrats have a strong candidate in North Carolina, with Senator Tillis retiring, and it will probably be a toss-up state. In Texas, Senator John Cornyn is being challenged in a primary, and that could give Democrats a sliver of hope in the Lone Star State. Republicans will mount a strong challenge against Jon Ossoff in Georgia. They have a toss-up race in New Hampshire. In Michigan, it's hard to predict, and Republicans are mounting a challenge in the end. I suspect Republicans will keep control of the Senate. A new study from L2, a nonpartisan data firm, analyzed the 30 states that register voters by party. It shows fewer registered Democrats in all 30 states and more Republicans in 22 that were on election day in 2020. In 8 states, both parties' registration totals declined, but Republicans dropped less than Democrats. That means a lot of people are moving to be independents. The combined swing to the GOP in all 30 states was 4.5 million voters. This phenomenon out there is the growing number of voters that don't affiliate with either party, as I said. Take North Carolina, a presidential battleground instead of a key Senate race in the midterms. Since the 2020 election, the number of Democratic registrations had dropped 310,917, while Republican registrations grew 65,000. But the number of unaffiliated voters today is 2,913,000, up 461,000 in those 5 years. Neither party can win North Carolina merely by maximizing turnout among its base. The victor needs a substantial share of unaffiliated or independent voters. The focus on independents is even more important in Republicans in Maine's high-profile Senate race. There were 357,000 registered Democrats in 2024. Republican registrations were 310,000. They trailed by 309,000 unaffiliated voters. The Republicans can hold on to its only New England Senate seat by doing extremely well with independents and soft Democrats. Incumbent Susan Collins has a good track record of doing that. The other 28 states in the L2 study show a similar pattern. Republicans up, Democrats down, and unaffiliated or independent registrations either up or in a few cases not declining as fast as the major parties. It's reasonable to assume there's a similar pattern in the 20 states that don't register by party. The elections there will also hinge on how each party fares with independents. The quality of each party's candidate and how voters perceive them is also important. Even marquee candidates with glowing resumes can turn out to be duds on the campaign trail. It's too soon to make a confident judgment about each party's stable of candidates, especially the neophytes. The major issue that is always on the mind of voters is the economy. I believe it will once again be the dominant issue. A Wall Street Journal poll shows that voters are not confident about their own financial circumstances. This is crucial to the party in power because the opposition will hammer away that the voters need to make a change. Trump made a lot of promises on the economy, and he and the Republican Congress will have to deliver so they see positive results when they're at the grocery store, or at the gas pump, when they look at their savings and retirement accounts. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.